It's just another video game podcast. This is episode 5. I'm your host, Jeremy Harvey. Joining me once again, practically co-host, Bryan Hour.
At this point, yes. Hi, I'm Bryan Hour. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Bryan, again, the reason I have you on here is to talk about video games. How does that sound?
I guess I'm okay with that.
All right, well, that's fortunate. Specifically, I want to talk about something that every episode I've had you on, it seems it gets brought up at some point.
Yeah.
And we're both pretty excited for it.
Ridiculously at this point. It actually seems to consume my day-to-day.
We're talking about the Nintendo NX, which has yet to be announced, but it just seems like it's just around the corner.
I know. Every single day I go to work, I am checking like every hour to see if that thing has, like, anyone has talked about it yet. I really want Nintendo to talk about it.
Yeah, it seems like everyone except Nintendo has talked about it.
Yes, and I don't care about what other people are saying, other than like a few things here and there. But other than that, I really just want to hear what Nintendo has to say.
Same here. And I don't really like to talk rumors. I don't want to do a discussion just talking about rumors.
So that's no fun.
Right. I want to treat this more as prediction.
Okay.
As what we think with everything we've heard, because we've heard a lot of rumors, but then we've also heard things that we can consider facts because they have been said by big name people, not just quote unquote insiders, the ones that supposedly get leaked information, but big people that would actually be working on this thing, would actually be handling it.
Yeah, because I think there was a slew of articles last week about some things that Michael Pachter said. And let's be honest, no one's really given a huge shit about what Michael Pachter has to say about things in a while. For those of you who don't know, he's an industry analyst, and he makes predictions based on numbers and just knowing the industry.
He's never been... We know that he's not the kind of guy that are at these manufacturing plants, that he's actually seeing things. It's all just him hearing things from other people.
From an office somewhere.
Right.
And talking to people on the phone. And he's an interesting guy. If you ever have a chance to... we all have the internet, so we all have a chance to listen to him talk about things. One year, Giant Bomb took a break from one of their PAX panels, I think it was. During that break, they let 3 people that they really liked just sit up on a table and talk while they were getting pizza and soda or whatever.
That's great.
And and he was one of the people they wanted up there because it's really interesting to hear him talk about video games and his perspective of the industry. But when it all boils down to it, that article was about what he thinks. Here's how they should price the NX, and if they priced it above this, it would be a failure. And it was typical forecasting of an industry.
It's just reflecting on the market.
Yeah, and those kinds of things haven't really, greased my wheels. Like the Eurogamer article from a couple months ago. That was the last real piece of information that excited me. And actually, I was sitting there, I was reading it, and I was surprised at how excited I was getting. Because it was all information we kind of already knew. We basically know, but we don't know. None of this has been confirmed. Nintendo has said a release date and like one other thing publicly about the NX. But we all kind of know it's going to be this hybrid of home and mobile console.
Right, and that's something I want to get to. What I want for this episode is we're basically going to turn this into the official Just Another Video Game podcast prediction for what it is.
Okay.
We're going to craft together what this thing is from the things that we know. And I think a good place to start is things that have been basically confirmed by these higher ups. Specifically, there was one within the last week. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was the CEO of the Pokemon company.
Yes.
Had been talking about it. This was pretty obviously something that he really shouldn't have been saying.
Yes.
But he said...
That was kind of a fun thing to read, yeah.
Yeah, he said that the NX will change the way that you look at handheld and consoles.
Yes.
So we know that this is going to be some kind of hybrid. It's going to either be a console that you can literally take with you, not like the Wii U, where you have to be within 10 feet of the system, or it's going to be a handheld that you can easily plug into the TV, something similar to what the PSP second generation did, where you could plug it into HDMI, or I believe maybe it was component. They had a plug that you could play it on your TV. But I feel like the best way to do this is to sort of work backwards, because only recently we've been getting things that are a little bit more concrete. Everything up until now has just been people speculating today there was a supposed sketch that has come from Foxconn. Foxconn is the manufacturer in China that basically makes everything. They make all of the game systems. They do a number of different other electronics. I believe the iPhone is made there too.
Lot, yeah, Apple products. Maybe not all of them, but definitely iPhones. A sketch came out. Someone sat there and drew something that they were manufacturing day after day after day after day, or
it's unclear. It's a situation where employees are not allowed to bring phones with them. They're not allowed to take pictures of these things. It's rare for us to see an actual picture of it, but you have some people. My guess is they get paid off. They get some money for doing these kind of things because you can get fired for that.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that there's someone out there that wants to get a picture of it that maybe works there. I'm assuming that they get paid for this stuff. That there's someone that's going to buy this.
Yeah, see, that's actually you're probably right. There are people who don't care that work there that are on the payroll of people who are willing to pay for this kind of leaked information. So
they have friends online from other countries that will wire them money.
That is a more likely situation. There's not just you and me counterpart working there going like, oh man, Polygon probably can't wait to get a hold of this, or right. And trying to sell it to them. So
you haven't seen the drawing yet?
I have not seen the drawing.
All right, I've got it here, and I'm going to describe it the best that I can. Video version on YouTube. I will put a picture of this on here. So here's what we have.
Okay, so this is a box. It is not quite a cube. It is more of a rectangular prism because it is a little bit taller than it seems to be wide. It says NX, and by says NX, there is a letter N and a letter X on it.
Now, the things that I saw in here were basically this box at the top, on the top left, is the power brick / powerhouse.
Okay.
This is going to have...
Makes enough sense.
From what I was seeing on translations, this may be a little power boost that it gets from it. When you dock the thing on the right, which is the controller, with it, that when you're on the go, you're basically going to have a handheld experience. I'm guessing somewhere on par with what Vita is right now, something similar to that graphics-wise. And when you connect it, which it can be connected wirelessly or docked, which is what I believe the bottom is, that when you dock it on there, and you can use a controller, and you'll get levels that are akin to our current PS4, Xbox One. Brian has his hands over his face right now.
I'm silently losing my mind. I did not start doing that until you mentioned the thought, idea, proposal that the plug-in to like the home console part, like if you plug into that, could possibly drive the power forward.
No, there's two things that sort of support this, going to rumors. There was a patent.
Because, hold on. If you are, like I said, we're going to put some link to this somewhere. It's Chinese. Someone has... I don't know what the words say other than there's an NX, a letter N and a letter X somewhere, or like on this box. So I can't, like, looking at the picture, you're like, okay, that thing plugs into this thing, which, and then there's this weird thing on the bottom with boxes, little boxes on top of it, and, whatever. If someone has translated all of this, and it says that...
No, we're assuming they even know what they're talking about.
Yes, okay.
We're assuming that they can even translate it.
Honestly, I'm getting my hopes up just going down this path, but... Because it also kind of goes against just programming in general. I don't know. Well, I'm a dumbass. Trust me, I'm a dumbass. But the idea of that kind of gave me a little mini freak out there for a second.
There's sort of two things that quote-unquote support this.
Okay.
There was already rumors before this picture went out that you would be able to connect this to a device, a dock, that would give it a boost.
Right.
That would... From what I've heard, it's a minimal boost, but it's enough to be able to increase the resolution.
That's what we kind of all assumed.
Right. Nintendo put out a patent for this. This very idea of having a system that you could take off somewhere to have a lower power system, then you could put it on the dock and it would amplify it.
Right.
And this kind of goes back to the original cartridge days on the NES, that they would get boosts from games by putting extra stuff in the cartridge itself.
Okay, like so the MC5 chip that made bigger sprites, which made it pop. Is it MC5, or am I thinking of MC5 the band?
At the very least, you can think about it. You can think about it in ways that they had a battery in the cartridge,
the punch-out chip, or the battery in the cartridge. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that kind of thing. Hey, come on, put that on silent. All right, people are listening to this.
My bad.
And they love us.
So yeah, that's what we have here.
I hope you love us. I really do.
Another interesting thing is with the controller on the right, the buttons have a line that look like they separate from the screen. Then this also goes along with
the
thing that Eurogamer reported.
Right. Okay, the Eurogamer article, yes.
Where it looks like we're going to have something like I believe they said around a 6-inch tablet. So imagine having a tablet, I don't even know, does the iPad mini get that small? But just imagine a 6-inch tablet sort of thing. Another report said it would be, the current dev units are about the thickness of a 3DS XL closed.
Okay.
If you can imagine that as well. I think that that's a little too thick. I think that's the dev kit that
yes,
it's going to thin out with that. Because that's chunky.
Sounds a little too thick.
Yeah. And the idea is, and this goes along with another patent that Nintendo made, would be that the controllers can come off of there to where you can have a purely touch-based tablet experience for games. This also goes along with something that I think happened well over a year ago when we were first hearing about the NX, that they were looking into the Android architecture for their OS. So we're looking at something similar to a very tablet-centric experience for the handheld. There was also, along with this, the idea that you would be able to take the controllers off and use them either on their own as if they were like Wii controllers. You can look at the sides of these and see Wii controllers.
Yeah, they are. And like they're going to snap together if you dock it.
That's one of those things I can't picture. I can't picture you taking those two controllers apart, putting them together and making a comfortable control.
It doesn't seem... That's the one big problem that I had with the Eurogamer article, which was taking them off the sides, putting them together, and every time I did that pantomime, I just didn't feel right.
Right. I can't see myself holding these two together.
No.
And being okay playing a game like that.
Unless there's something called the Wii or the Nintendo Bridge. The piece that you hook your controller into that's just plastic.
Now, what I'm... yeah, well, there was ideas that they would use infrared to communicate with it to where these wouldn't even be powered up controllers on their own. They wouldn't have battery powered, but when you plug them in, it could basically create an IR circuit in there that you could control it that way. It sounds very Nintendo. It also doesn't sound
but
like
it also
a
sounds somewhat like motion based. And do you think that they are ever going to go back to that?
Oh yeah, I totally think they will.
You really do?
The 3DS has motion in it still, and I personally love the motion. I don't like the waggle.
Okay, that's true.
I think there's a difference between motion controls and waggle.
Yes.
The PS4 has motion controls in it, and there's a few games that have
Splatoon is a brilliant use of motion control. So, yeah, maybe I'm just being a little, I don't know, bit of an asshole about that. I just figured they would kind of eventually start to step away from that. But no, you're right. Maybe there is still some motion control, some life left in motion control.
I think that when you look at the Wii Motion Plus and the motion that's in the 3DS and in the Wii U, they've got a good thing there.
Yeah.
It was just never utilized properly to its full extent.
Yes.
So there's a couple other things another few rumors that were going around from Let's Play Video Games. They did a quote-unquote leak for some things. There was the split D-pad. Do you understand that?
No. That is not a term I have heard, I don't think.
You look at the D-pad for everything Nintendo, and it's a solid cross piece. Then you look at something like the PS4 controller, and it is still a solid piece, but it comes through as 4 buttons.
Well, I never think of the PS4 when I think of that. I always think of the original PlayStation.
Sure. I mean, did I have that too?
Yeah, it did.
Oh,
because it was just very uncomfortable. And I remember, spending weekends at my cousin's house, and I had the 64, and he had the PlayStation, and I would walk away with a thumb callus every weekend I spent there.
Well, or something like on the N64 controller, you had the C buttons.
Yeah.
To where you have sort of a cross there, but they're 4 different buttons.
Yeah.
Supposedly that's what it's going to be, and it's going to be in a way that you can use this controller, you can use the crosspad as either directional or as ABXY.
Okay.
Sort of thing. Because it also seems like it will still have sticks on it on both sides.
Yes.
Something tells me they're not going to go with the kind of sticks that Xbox and PlayStation have. I think we're going to see something more like the slide pad on the 3DS.
You think so?
Well, when they first showed off the Wii U gamepad, it had a similar thing.
Yeah.
They weren't sticks, they were circles that you could slide around.
But weren't they kind of going through some litigation over the stick itself at that time?
There could have been something like that. Personally, I think Nintendo wants to move towards that. Whether or not that's good or not, I think it's bad for first-person shooters.
Yes.
But I think it's better for adventure games where I'm moving forward a lot. I feel it's more comfortable then.
Well, Nintendo has always been more concerned with building their own games around their own hardware and not really caring what other games or third party are going to do with their own hardware. Their games are built for their own controllers, so
right. And I think with what
they make them, of course they are.
And I think with what we're looking at with the whole tablet thing, they're definitely not going to be looking to compete with Sony or Microsoft.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to be worrying about competing with Apple or Android. I think that they're going to look at it as being their own third party thing.
Yes.
I think we're going to see mobile games on this. I think we're going to see things like Candy Crush, like maybe not Clash of Clans, because Clash of Clans, you want to be on the go. That requires a cellular account.
Yeah, I think it doesn't really require a cellular account.
There's a lot of online
Clash
stuff.
Royale does.
It doesn't play well with the idea of taking it with you and playing against somebody without being able to connect to something.
So we're thinking that there's not going to be.
I don't think we're going to see those kinds of games, but I think
we're only going to see Wi-Fi.
We're going to see games that you can download onto your thing and play that without needing a connection.
Right.
Standalone games. I doubt we're going to see crazy microtransaction-focused games on there.
Please, I hope not.
But I do believe that we are going to see more mobile kind of games that are showing up. You look at the Wii U eShop, there are a lot of mobile games that they have brought onto there. That if you look through, let's be honest, if you look through the trash that is buried in there, if you look at the cheapest games that they have, you're going to find mobile games that they adjusted slightly so that they work with the touchpad. To be fair, if you look at Microsoft and PlayStation with the Xbox One and the PS4, and you look at the cheapest games that they have on there, they have mobile games on there too. PlayStation 4 has a free-to-play clicker game.
Yeah, Adventure Capitalist?
Yes.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
Because Adventure Capitalist is a money-making, sucker of your soul somehow. And the more systems you can play it on simultaneously, apparently, the more your itchy brain gets scratched. Yeah, no, you're right. It's true. We're blending these two worlds together, and it's just weird for an old dog like me to think about, I guess. I don't know.
No, it makes sense. It's different. Like we were talking about when we were discussing Super Mario Run, the gaming landscape has changed.
Yeah, it really has, and it's weird. It's very weird. But, God, I'm only 31, and I know there are people older than me who have been around longer in this video game world, and still I feel like an old man, and it's weird.
But when we're talking about the games that they're going to have on there, there's another thing that's been brought up. It was talked about, rumored for a while. One thing that I do consider a good source for these kind of things is Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
Especially recently when we were talking about what is coming up for PS4, Xbox One before they were released. Wall Street Journal had a lot of stuff on there that was correct.
Wall Street Journal usually does have good information about just hard numbers because they are actually paying attention to how much this shit is all worth. They treat the video game industry like any other industry. And so in some ways it's kind of like one of the few pieces of traditional print that you can go to for an interesting look on video games that is somehow relevant.
Sure. But what they had recently said is that the NX will use cartridges.
Yes.
And this goes along with a number of other things where certain games that are third party have been certified for both disc and cartridge. Other than the 3DS, there isn't anything, well, 3DS and Vita, there isn't anything else that uses cartridges. And you're not going to see, like recently, Resident Evil 7 was one that said that it's going to be on cartridge. So we can sort of go with that to say that the NX may have Resident Evil 7.
What I do think is entirely possible is one that Nintendo will stick to a physical cartridge the way that their portable DS systems have had. I've heard people say that Nintendo was really gunning for the PS4 and the Xbox One.
No.
I don't believe that for a second. That's bullshit as far as I'm concerned.
Every bit of official PR Nintendo has said, it's that they don't care to compete with them anymore.
And that's been the case for years. And I don't care about that. If people are really trying to push that, like, oh, they're going for it, well, I, number one, think they don't know what they're talking about when people say that. And number two, if in the same breath they are saying that Nintendo is going to focus more on cartridges don't have the same kind of memory that discs do. We all know that the reason why PlayStation did better was because it was cheaper.
I'm going to interject. Because technology for cartridges, for flash memory, has advanced greatly. It's a lot cheaper than it used to be. And the thing is, with cartridges, they are faster than discs. So while you're waiting for load times...
We all knew that. They're faster than discs.
Right. It's just
it's
one
the
thing.
Memory capacity that was always the... Well, my game doesn't have loading times. Oh, well, my game has cutscenes. Oh, well, my game, is that... Oh, I actually have music tracks. Like, it was always that PS1 64 pissing contest that fanboys would have.
But you look at Blu-rays can hold, I can't even say, we'll say around 80 gigs. I think it's something, I think a single layer Blu-ray can hold around 80 gigs. That's a lot. How many games fully utilize that 80 gigs?
No.
How much is a 32 gig flash drive?
Like $10 at this point.
You could easily see them saying, okay, we could, for more expensive ones, you go up to 64 gigs.
All right, fair
something
point.
like that, and that's about $20.
Yeah.
Now, that is definitely more expensive than discs, but on the other hand, it would be a lot harder to pirate.
Yes.
Which Nintendo has always been
that.
for.
They love that.
That's why we got those tiny little discs in the GameCube.
Yeah, no. They're always very afraid. They're very close to China. They're very afraid of pirating.
But personally, I could easily see them going back to cartridges, something around the size of the 3DS cartridges that we have right now.
Yeah.
I can't see a big cartridge.
Nowhere
near a Super Nintendo cartridge or anything like
It's
that.
very much like when I read those articles, I think, oh, well, Super Nintendo cartridges. Dumb, funny story based around DS cartridges. I went to Best Buy one time. I do not remember which DS game I bought. This is probably 10 years ago. But I bought a DS game, and I walked up to the counter, and the girl there said, oh, would you like to insure your game on damages? You pay an extra $20, $15, $10,
in case it gets scratched.
In case it gets scratched. And I just looked at her, and I don't know, I was younger then, and I was very angry about everything, and so I think I did lay into her for like 10 seconds and then grabbed my receipt and my game and walked out. It is not a funny story. It was very funny when I was there, and I laid into probably someone who's only 2 years younger than me about being dumb about video games.
If you've bought enough games at retail, you've heard this before. You hear all that, and if you know cartridges, it's a joke. It's funny because most gamers can relate to those kind of things.
Yes.
Talking about cartridges, let's talk about the games. Now, there was a rumor that within I believe they said the first 6 months, we'll be seeing a Mario game.
Yes.
A Zelda game.
Yeah, well, we know that.
We know that, hopefully, I'm going to be so upset if that thing launches without Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
I believe there's a Pokemon game.
I am super fucking excited to my nerd core about the fact that what it sounds like is every single Nintendo property will be in one place from now on. Pokemon, I can play it on my TV. Like, that is the thing that, like, most excited me when I was reading. Once again, we're going to bring up that Eurogamer article because it is a really big deal. It was a big deal. It's the only people who've had the balls to say, hey, it's not 100%, but we feel comfortable enough saying, maybe this is what it is. And I was so excited reading that article, and that was the thing that got me the most excited, was all my stuff is going to be in one place. I love Nintendo. I love everything they do. It's all going to be in one place.
Definitely.
A Pokemon game on my TV, and how's it going to link? How's it going to link? Oh, well, of course, how's it going to link? I haven't played a Pokemon game since Leaf Green, so...
Oh, linking Pokemon games is so easy.
Yeah, it just... God.
But my only worry with that is we've had Pokemon games on the consoles.
And they suck.
Exactly. Not real Pokemon games. The closest thing we had was Gale of Darkness for the GameCube, and that had all these weird limitations. It wasn't a true Pokemon game.
Yeah. This might be a true Pokemon game.
Fingers crossed.
And a year after Sun and Moon? Which...
I'm actually really excited for Sun and Moon.
I would like to play. Great. I really would. I think you may have heard me say on one of the previous episodes that my A button on my 3DS has crapped out about 6 months ago, and I haven't played my 3DS since. So...
I think I edited that out.
Well, for those of you who don't know, because you're not Jeremy, my 3DS A button crapped out about 2 months into a very successful Animal Crossing town. I finally started playing New Leaf, and that town has since... I'm sure languished in weeds and garbage and that one shitty neighbor I couldn't get rid of. But yeah, I really want to play Sun and Moon. I don't think I will because I'm not playing my 3DS anymore because it's broken. And
I mean,
I need to get it fixed. And if anyone wants to email Jeremy and tell me the best way to get it fixed, because I went through the Nintendo website and nothing really went that well with that.
They're just going to want you to buy a new system.
Pretty much. And I don't want to do that. I got a sweetheart deal with my 3DS.
You get the new 3DS, you can play Super Nintendo games.
I want to do that, but I'm not going to. And that's what sucks.
We are due for a legit Metroid game. We've got...
Oh, we are.
Federation Force that sold horribly. That I don't think the team that was working on that is going to be allowed to handle any major Nintendo IPs ever again.
I don't think that team that handled that is going to be allowed to do anything ever again.
No, they'll keep them on staff, but it's going to be just downloadable titles.
Every time that was shown, ever since then, anytime it had made a public appearance, up until and including the time it was released, it was shit upon.
Yeah, everyone was hating on it.
Completely shit upon.
One of the games that was rumored is the sequel to Beyond Good and Evil. Did you ever play Beyond Good and Evil?
I got it, the HD version, with Xbox Live last month. I have always wanted to play it, but I've always wanted to play it on GameCube. And I have never walked into a game store and seen it for GameCube and bought it. It has been something that I have wanted to play for years, and I will very soon when I have the time. But
I adore Beyond Good and Evil. I've 100% of that game on GameCube, on PS2, on PC, and on Xbox to get all the achievements. I was happy to get 100% achievements on that one.
Okay.
Oh my god.
And I don't know anything about it other than there's a camera and a pig. That's all I know about it, and I am happy to keep it that way until I finally experience it for myself. Because I really, really want to play it.
It's very Zelda-like.
Yeah. That's
It's
what
like
I've heard.
Zelda with stealth elements.
Cool. I really want to play it.
You should. I think that if they do show that off, hopefully that'll inspire you to play it.
Okay. Because you're saying what now about it?
It was rumored that the sequel to it will be on the NX, exclusive to the NX, which would...
Really?
Yeah, which honestly wouldn't surprise me in a way that it's an Ubisoft game, and Ubisoft was there for the Wii U launch. They were there for the Wii launch. They've been very good with helping Nintendo with their launches.
Yes.
By giving them interesting games.
I mean,
Although,
to the point that even Guillemot, that's his name, right?
I don't remember. I know it's a French name.
Was quoted saying stuff in the past week about this is going to be great, it's going to be exciting, and everything. And, to be fair, Ubisoft, they are willing to be anywhere and everywhere. Ubisoft loves to be involved with everyone. Doesn't matter. They were there at the beginning of the Wii U with the Rayman Legends until...
They had Zombie U, which I think was an underrated game. It wasn't great, but it had some really interesting things.
When you die, you die.
Yeah.
And you just come... Oh, hey. Not ominous voice. The guy who's telling you what to do in that game. Hey. Oh, thank God there's a new person here because that guy just died. Hey, why don't you pick up where he left off? That is a really funny way to approach a zombie game, and I really liked it.
For me, after dying 3 times climbing on a ladder, I got fed up with that game.
Oh yeah, I didn't get very far into it, but I really appreciated where they were going with it. I thought it was really cute.
But I could easily see them putting out a new Rayman game for the NX. Maybe not an exclusive one, because it might be exclusive at launch, like they did with Rayman Legends, which when they first revealed it, it was like, this is exclusive to the Wii U.
And we were all really excited about that.
Yeah, it was an amazing game.
Yeah.
I fucking love that game.
And then there's a segment of the Nintendo Nintendo-loving population that was like, oh, hey, wait a minute. This was supposed to be our game. Chill out.
You guys didn't buy enough.
Don't worry about it.
It doesn't take away that game from you.
No, it doesn't.
But I could easily see a Rayman game. It could even be something more mobile focused, like Rayman Jungle Run, which is a very fun game. Hopefully we'll get the Beyond Good and Evil game, fingers crossed.
That'd be cool.
Some other rumors that were going around were basically re-releases of Wii U games, which they've already started to do that with re-releasing Wii U games to the 3DS. We are going to be getting Super Mario Maker 3DS. We're going to be getting Yoshi's Woolly World 3DS. We've already got...
And the all-important Poochie Yarn Amiibo. If you don't know anything about the Yoshi Island games, Poochie is the devil. He is cute, lovable, disarming, and every time he dies, he comes right back. And he's always there to fuck you up right when you don't need him to be in front of you. I'm sorry, I have this theory. I've come up with it. With my fiance and I have come up with this theory. Poochie is the fucking devil, and I cannot wait to buy his Yarn Amiibo. I did not realize or think of or even consider the fact of them HD re-releasing Wii U games, the coined term HD re-release of Wii U games.
And it makes sense
because... It totally does, and I never, ever considered that option.
Because we have amazing games on the Wii U that sold poorly.
Yes. That
hopefully with the setup that they have...
Oh my god, play Splatoon on the bus.
Yeah.
Playing Splatoon on the bus! I'm so excited. I wish that they would just tell us already.
I was hoping that we'd get some sort of 3DS Splatoon.
I never would have played it.
I would have.
I love Splatoon. I love my 3DS. I never would have played it.
Well, yeah, because you have a broken 3DS.
This is true. But I don't think I ever would have played it in any sense. Do you have to pay for it again?
Definitely.
Yep. Because Nintendo is not a cross-buy system.
Hopefully they do something with it. Like, I don't want to have to buy Super Metroid again.
That they will keep doing that.
My hope is that with the new My Nintendo, which replaced Club Nintendo,
yes,
that is sort of your all-around Nintendo account. That anything that you bought with your My Nintendo account, they can actually keep track of it that way.
And that makes sense because now their new system is both portable and home console. Right. So I doubt that they will link the Wii U purchases into it, but hey, that would be nice.
So let's finish it up with the name.
Shit.
Are they going to call it the NX?
No, they will not.
Quick aside, when they first said the NX, the first thing that came to mind for me was Nintendo Cross. Because with a lot of Japanese things...
That is a very Japanese thing.
X is cross and it has to do with crossovers.
Yes.
And I saw this as a reflection of what they had already been doing with things like Super Smash Bros. Being on both 3DS and Wii U. You had things like Monster Hunter 3 was on 3DS and Wii U. They later did a thing with Hyrule Warriors where it was on 3DS, it was on Wii U. As soon as I heard NX...
They've been gearing us up for this for a long time, haven't they?
I think this is something they've been working on for a long time. And when I heard that name, that's the first thing that came to mind was Nintendo Cross, and it was going to be a platform that crossed both console and handheld. I don't think they're going to keep the NX name.
No.
Although,
the only time they've kept a prototype name was another system with 2 letters.
The DS.
The DS.
Yeah.
Maybe they do that again because Project Reality, Dolphin, Revolution.
Everyone knows the NX name now. Everyone talks NX. At E3 for Ubisoft's conference, they said their Just Dance game will be on PlayStation, Xbox, NX.
Yeah.
They said NX. There was the new Sonic game that's coming out, Sonic 2017, they're calling it right now. On the trailer, it says NX.
Yeah, but to be fair, also in the attract reel on Killer Instinct's arcade machine, it
Ultra
said,
64.
Playable in 1995 on Ultra 64.
Yep.
So, I mean, who knows?
How does the Nintendo Go sound?
Sounds like shit. I'm sorry, that didn't sound that great to me. It's the first I've heard of it. I honestly do not care one bit what they call it.
Come up with a name.
I just want to know the Nintendo White Gold. I don't know. The Nintendo Precious Metal. I don't know. I just want to know. And the more it gets pushed back, we thought it was going to be TGS. It did not end up being TGS. Now they're saying early October.
All rumors.
All rumors, and that's 1 to 2 weeks away, and I can't wait that long. I need to see it. I just need to know, because I'm going to buy it.
You got a plan for it.
But I need to know.
Alright, I think that'll wrap up this discussion. Finally got it off our chest.
I think so, and maybe tomorrow at work I won't look up NX News, but I probably will.
No, I follow like 4 different Twitter accounts that they all tell me whenever there's some kind of rumor coming out.
Yeah.
And I check it every hour.
Yep. Every hour at work.
Alright, well this has been just another video game podcast.
God bless you, Internet.
We are officially on iTunes now.
Oh, really?
Yes. So,
well, we finally made it.
If you're listening to us on the iTunes podcast app, go ahead and give us a review. I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, I hear that's something that other podcasts ask people to do.
There's no liking on it. I mean, if you're listening to it, that's liking it enough, I think.
I think so, yeah.
But we're also on Google Play, also on YouTube, also on SoundCloud, also on Stitcher, also on Player FM. I don't know if there's anything else that...
Zune?
No, not on Zoom. Is that even a thing anymore?
I think it was just briefly at the beginning of the Xbox One.
You might be right.
Then they were like, hey, we're still doing it. It's still our iTunes.
We're bringing it back.
Yeah. Hey, that's about 10 years old. And
I had a Zune. I had one years ago.
Hey, God bless you for that.
It was cool. It was a nice little looking thing.
Aw.
If there's anything that you listen to app-wise, let me know. You can find us on Twitter at JustAnotherVGP. For the third time in a row, I want to thank Bryan and I for coming on.
I am happy to be here.
He will never be on again.
Never.
You'll probably be on the next episode.
Probably.
I don't know what to talk about right now.
I don't know, but I think we might... you got time?
Yeah.
You want to dick around and play a game and maybe record it, and we'll try and put that in the link or something like that?
Yeah, we'll see what we can throw together.
Yeah. I got a bunch of old video games in this room.
Thanks for listening.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening to this completely non-informative podcast.
I'll never know how to end these things.